Welcome to the director's cut of Christian Nutrition, the show where we review every single episode of VeggieTales chronologically. And by we, I mean just me. We are on the fast track, you guys. We only have 6 episodes remaining, and that's counting this one. Oh yes, The Little House That Stood is one of the last 6. Whew, I mean, you're just blazing towards the end. The Little House That Stood released in March of 2013, and 2 things there. Number 1, The Little House That Stood reminds me of The Little House on the Prairie, though I'm sure this is not actually a parody of The Little House on the Prairie. But number 2 is March of 2013 is literally 2 years before the final regular VeggieTales episode released. Yes, March of 2015 with Noah's Ark. We're getting close. Can you feel how close we're getting? Really, what I'm looking for with these last 6 episodes, and this is the quest. This is the final quest. This is the final arc of Christian Nutrition, is we are looking for that final gem, that final classic episode, the final episode that shows us that VeggieTales did have a reason to exist before Netflix acquired the property and made it its own thing. We want an episode that proves that VeggieTales still had it in them to do one last great episode. That's what we're searching for, one last great episode. So with that in mind, let's review The Little House That Stood. One more thing I need to mention with that, I had a contest back in that one Christmas episode of VeggieTales. Do you remember that? No? Well, anyways, it was in the middle of the episode. I threw out, a random question. I was like, hey, if you can answer this accurately, you can help with a future episode or something like that. I forgot exactly what I said, but basic point is that somebody did win that contest, and their channel name is Dude Tomato. And he helped me write some of the jokes in this episode. So if you want to check out his VeggieTales-centric channel, go for it. It would make my contest seem more legitimate if you did. Links in the description below.
Larry, what are you doing?
Or more importantly, how does Larry have arms? I mean, we make jokes constantly throughout the entire show of, oh, we don't have arms, oh, we don't have legs. How did we do that? We don't have arms. But here, when Larry gets into a suit, all of a sudden he has arms. What?
Dropping breadcrumbs.
Why?
To find my way back. From Storybook Land. How do I look?
Delicious?
Bob is a cannibal, confirmed.
Oh, hello, Mother.
That's your mom?
Ah, that actually explains a lot.
I'll name mine Steve. I got stuck in a rodeo once with a pair of bulls. Definitely learned my lesson. Never get in the ring with a pair of bulls. Powerful lesson.
Ooh, that sounds like a painful lesson to me.
Jesus used parables to explain truths about God to ordinary people.
Well, we're ordinary people.
Exactly.
You are talking vegetables. So, yes, completely ordinary people.
Once upon a time, there were 3 builders who worked in very different ways.
Is this the same narrator from the Esther episode? I asked this knowing that it's probably not, and that if you listen to the voice, yeah, it's a bit different, but it seems like they're kind of going for the same thing here, where they have just the random Brooklyn kind of guy narrating an episode. Doesn't make any sense at all.
It's a sunny day in Cabbageville. The air is warm and dry.
Oh, sure, it's warm and dry right now, but wait till that dam breaks. Seriously, who builds a town right under a dam like that? Seems a bit stupid to me.
All the folks are nice.
Oh!
All the homes well priced. What could possibly go wrong?
We are then introduced to our main 3 characters, and thankfully none of them are junior. We meet Mr.Lunt, who builds with only bricks, Bob, who builds with wood, and Larry, who builds using hay. However, Bob is the only one who cares about using a strong foundation. He finds that is the most important part. Also, there's some sort of Builder of the Year award and everybody wants to win it. That's also in this plot.
Hey!
Hey.
Hey?
Hey.
Is Larry hitting on that guy?
Hey!
Hey.
Hey?
Hey.
So I guess Sweet Petunia was just a cover-up. Okay.
Come on, it's cheap, it smells like the farm, and it's 20% more energy efficient.
Larry liked to make up statistics.
That's only 50% true.
So now Larry likes to lie. I would say we need an episode on lying, but there's been so many episodes of VeggieTales, I'm sure there's one. Oh wait, it's Larry Boy and the Fib from Outer Space. How have we already forgotten that episode?
The weatherman says a big storm is coming.
It's big! Seriously, I'm talking rain!
know, I haven't seen a lot of debris recently, but it was a couple of hours ago that...
Everybody knows that 20% of all weathermen are 30% wrong 40% of the time.
I don't even know what that means.
Hold on! All right.
Step 1. The key to solid construction is a solid foundation. Dig 6-foot holes every 3 feet, pouring concrete set with rebar, wow. That's a lot of words.
This is every person ever when they get a manual with their new electronic device. So Bob, Larry, and Mr. Lunt all get to work on their homes. Larry and Mr. Lunt don't give one iota about foundation, and Bob knows that's the most important thing. In fact, I'm pretty sure he reminds us like 30 times throughout the episode. Yes, we get it, Bob. You like foundation, it's important. Okay, biblical lesson, I'm sure it's coming up. Oh, and Larry and Mr. Lunt make fun of Bob for thinking that way.
See you at the ceremony when I get that Builder of the Year award. This isn't about winning an award.
That's what the person who loses usually says.
I can't argue Mr. Lunt is stating nothing but facts.
Yes, Wolf River was flooding into the Huff and Puff Dam and fast. Wolf, Huff and Puff, huh? Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Yes, we get it. The joke is mildly amusing.
This house is simply gorgeous. You must be Bob, the builder.
Bob the Builder, can we fix it? Bob the Builder, yes we can!
No matter how hard he tried to tell them, it seemed that Bob was only talking to himself.
I could talk to you.
But I'm the narrator. That would be awkward.
Hello darkness, my old friend.
We then see Larry and Mr. Lunt fight over a hot tub that they want to put in their respective homes. No! Don't hit Junior! Oh, thank the Lord. I'm glad Junior's still alive because I love him this episode. I love me some Junior. A tiny little bump that should be no problem, but it's VeggieTales, so...
If you all don't mind, I'm gonna go narrate up on higher ground. Later!
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
It's a sunny day in Cabbageville. The air is warm and dry. The birds are chirping, utilities working, and no one wants to cry.
After the town dried up, Bob was indeed awarded the prize for Builder of the Year.
The town dried up. That's all that needed to happen? The town drying up? What about repairing the dam? This town should be completely flooded. I don't think they were just waiting for everything to simply dry up. Like that was the only thing that needed to happen. Also, shockingly, Bob wins the Builder Award. Bob the Builder winning the Builder Award. Yay.
And now it's time for Silly Songs with Larry, the part of the show where Larry comes out and sings a silly song.
Do you think Archibald will ever not explain what Silly Songs with Larry is? Like, okay, so it's your first time watching VeggieTales. Imagine this. I know it's hard to imagine because you're watching this channel, but let's imagine. First time watching VeggieTales. You're watching it, the first story ends, and then Silly Songs with Larry pops up, and it says Silly Songs with Larry. But Archibald doesn't explain what it is. And you're like, Silly Songs with Larry? I have no idea what to expect. And then all of a sudden you see Larry and he's singing a silly song and he's a cucumber. And you're like, this doesn't make any sense. I don't know what's going on. No one told me what Silly Songs with Larry is. No one told me it's the part of the show where Larry comes out and sings a silly song. So here's this guy, Larry, this cucumber Larry, singing a silly song. It just doesn't make any sense unless Archibald explains it. I hope one day that happens.
I remember the day you came my way.
Hey!
Hey,
Hey?
hey. Then I saw you protrude. Oh, there you are.
Why is Larry's only tooth that massive at a young age? Did he not get a baby tooth first and then it fell out and he, grew his adult tooth? Why am I questioning the anatomy of a talking cucumber?
My only tooth, my lonely tooth, my all by itself in the middle of my mouth tooth. Happy Toothday to you.
Wouldn't it have been better to have Toothday fall on a Tuesday just for the extra layer of joke? No? Okay.
Happy Toothday to you. Happy Toothday to you.
Ah, yes, I'm sure glad they inserted brushing your teeth propaganda into this episode. I am extremely triggered and I will be writing to my congressman.
No more chilling all alone, no more greeting all alone.
Hey, Larry, can I borrow some?
You know, Bob, it's not polite to run away when someone's appearance freaks you out. Did you not learn anything from The Greatest Showman?
This is me.
No more shining all alone, no more shining all alone. Oops.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Tune in next time to hear Bob say, Happy Toothday, Larry.
Ah, and now VeggieTales is teaching kids how to have horrible manners. No wonder it got canceled.
Once upon a time, you've probably heard various rhymes from an old mother bird.
Another episode where they rhyme. Guys, come on. Do we have to do this? I haven't really liked any of these for various reasons, aside from Flibber Lou. So this half of the episode is honestly not worth reviewing the way I normally review an episode. The rhyming is fine and all, and there isn't anything particularly ridiculous like there is in A Snoodle's Tale. However, what we have here is Bob as Humpty Dumpty being the mayor of a small town full of fairy tale people.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me.
No, not like that, though that would be hilarious. Instead, he is the mayor and this town is 100% dependent on him to solve every single one of their problems. They have a long list of things they want him to solve, and all Bob wants is a vacation because the stress of their problems is causing his shell to crack. There's only one legitimate problem that Bob should actually feel compelled to help with out of all the problems presented in this episode, and that is a family is actually struggling to put food on the table for their kids. Other than that, no one in this town is self-sufficient and no one helps each other out. They're all depending on Bob to do everything for them. But no, the lesson of this episode is not that you should help each other out and, maybe give the mayor a break. Instead, it's something else. We'll get there. So Bob decides to go on a vacation, and when he does, he is essentially guilted because everyone is like a 5-year-old child. The lesson of this episode teaches you that you need to help everyone all the time with everything, no matter if it kills you. And if you are lucky, porridge will fill in the cracks of your shell by some sort of weird miracle. A true Deus Machina. Probably butchered that name. It actually feels a lot like a stance that says, have the government solve all of your issues. You are worthless without them. I know that may feel like a slight stretch, but if you watch this episode in its entirety with that thought in mind, it makes total sense.
Stop, that tickles.
Hold on a second. Does this mean that Larry's suit's made of real gingerbread? What? The reason I'm a bit surprised about this is because earlier in the episode, Larry said he made all these costumes for the show, and we get this one shot of them. You can see it here. It seems like they are regular costumes, not any of them being made of what they actually represent, which makes me wonder if the bear costumes from the last story were made of bear. Was Larry's wig really made of someone's real hair? This has gotten really creepy really fast.
You see, we know that God's word is for everyone, and now that our song is done, we'll take a look.
Wait, so Bob likes the song now? Make up your mind, Bob. Make up your mind.
Start the music! Start the music!
What music?
The What We Have Learned song. It calms her down.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm not crazy about that song.
Oh, really?
You see, we know that God's word is for everyone, and now that our song is done, we'll take a look.
Bob is a liar. Case closed.
Always remember, God made you special,
And he made me tasty.
and He loves you very much.
Bye.
That was The Little House That Stood, an overall disappointing episode, certainly not one I want to come back to anytime soon. The building story was okay. The silly song had potential, but the tooth mouthing ultimately does not pay off, and the final story contained pretty much a terrible message. Anyways, next time we review Mac Larry and the Stinky Cheese Battle. Is this the episode that shows us that the now 20-year-old VeggieTales series has still got it? Is this the gem episode? Is this the instant classic? Is this the one that shows us that VeggieTales, they should not have been canceled, because this is the episode. This is the one that proves it. We shall see. And with that, remember that God made you special and He loves you very much. Bye.